is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds.
That Bud was the best. I got to give it to him. Bud the best, right? He hands down. He the best. He the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do.
I've been a world champion, as you know, and I've been a 3-division world champion. But I've only won one of the belts. I don't know what it is to be undisputed. I don't know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when addressing Floyd Mayweather's remarks about Terence Crawford following his win over Canelo Alvarez. Smith emphasized that Crawford achieved something truly historic by becoming undisputed across multiple weight classes, a feat rarely seen in boxing history. He highlighted that Crawford has fully earned his legacy and merits widespread recognition for his accomplishments. In Smith's view, the victory over Canelo wasn't just another win. It was a career-defining moment that firmly placed Crawford among the sport's all-time greats. He insisted that any criticism from Mayweather should not diminish the significance of Crawford's achievement.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance.
Jeff Mayweather shared his thoughts on the surprising defeat Canelo Alvarez suffered at the hands of Terence Crawford. He noted that this loss will remain a notable part of Canelo's legacy. While Alvarez had been the dominant champion of his division, holding both prestige and respect, he was humbled by Crawford, who moved up in weight to challenge him. According to Jeff, this wasn't just a minor setback. It's a moment that will be remembered in boxing history. He emphasized that champions are often defined by their career-defining moments. And for Canelo, that moment came as a tough defeat to Crawford.
But either way, he was in discussion certainly with Chavez. What did this do to his legacy? Because I don't think he caught, the Floyd fight didn't give him, people didn't really look down on, because he was, even though he had 40 fights, he was still, fighting one of the greatest ever and an absolute master. In Bivol, he went up weight classes to win. But now he's fighting a smaller guy, a great fighter, but a smaller guy. Does this damage his legacy in any way?
I think it does. I think it does because, the one thing is this, is that, you were ruling, you were the king of that weight class. And the king of that weight class for a good while. And I think that, he had a huge following because, he became the face of boxing.
And even though it's another, future Hall of Famer, still losing a guy come up a couple weight classes, kind of makes you seem not as great as you might have been.
Stephen A. Smith expressed immense admiration for Terence Crawford's victory, calling it a historic moment in boxing. He shared that witnessing the fight in person made the achievement even more impactful. Smith emphasized that very few fighters in history have managed what Crawford did, moving up in weight and decisively defeating a dominant champion like Canelo Alvarez. He described the win as a career-defining accomplishment that elevates Crawford to a unique status in the sport. For Smith, this wasn't just another fight. It was a defining moment that reshapes the conversation around greatness in boxing.
This was Terence "Bud" Crawford moving up 2 weight divisions, really 3 in my mind, because we only fought 1 fight at the junior middleweight division. So he's really moving up from 147 pounds, okay? Terence "Bud" Crawford moving up to the 168-pound limit in an effort to claim the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world from the grasp of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, I was there because let me tell you something right now. There's very, very few sporting events in the world that are better than a super fight in Vegas. I can tell you that right now. There's very, very few events. Props to Nick Khan of the WWE.
After the fight, Crawford's trainer stressed that his fighter had already proven everything he needed to. According to him, Terence has reached a level of respect in boxing that should be unquestionable. Yet despite this achievement, some critics continue to question his standing. His trainer pointed out that Crawford isn't focused on chasing another opponent at the moment. His performance against Canelo alone is enough to solidify his legacy. This victory was less about future challenges and more about cementing a lasting place among the sport's elite.
Terence Crawford and his well-renowned trainer, two-time trainer of the year and future Hall of Fame trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, recently did an interview in which Bomac stated that a fight is not happening. And this particular fight is a fight that everybody wanted to see Canelo Alvarez take, and Canelo Alvarez refused to take this fight with a 28-year-old two-division world champion, reigning WBC light heavyweight, former two-time WBC super middleweight, the Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, who's one of my favorite fighters and a great person, David, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster Benavidez, who is 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout, stands at 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach, and fights at 175. But the entire time David Benavidez was fighting at 168, Canelo Alvarez was brought up, and he never accepted the fight. And so, with that said, now people are trying to project this fight on Terence Crawford. And they're saying that Terence Crawford needs to take the fight. So Bomac yesterday did an interview, and Bomac said they're not fighting David Benavidez. And so now people are pushing this notion that Terence Crawford is ducking and Terence Crawford is scared of David Benavidez. And if he don't fight David Benavidez, according to Boxing News 24.
Timothy Bradley offered a striking perspective on Crawford's place in boxing history. He suggested that Crawford's victory over Canelo positions him among the top names in any discussion of the greatest fighters ever. For Bradley, it wasn't just about winning one fight, it was about demonstrating what it truly means to be pound-for-pound number one. While Floyd Mayweather dominated his era, Crawford's performance showed that he could reach an even higher level by taking on and defeating one of the strongest champions of today. In Bradley's view, this triumph places Crawford in a league reserved for the sport's all-time legends.
It might be too late now. It might be too late, because guess what? He done. Ain't nothing else he needs to do. Ain't nothing else he needs to do in boxing. Yep, y'all doubt him now? Y'all doubt him now? I saw some of y'all goofies on y'all channels. You come here and you get the real over here. That's what you get over here. You want the real? You want a real breakdown from a real fighter, a Hall of Famer? That's what you do. You come right here and you gonna get the real and you gonna get the truth. Dang it, that's what you gonna get. Leave them other lames alone and come right on over here. Yeah, and get the truth and nothing but the truth. I've been trying to tell y'all for years about this. Been trying to tell y'all for years about Terence Crawford. Everybody put his resume down.
Roy Jones Jr. shared his thoughtful take on Crawford's achievement. He noted that unlike Floyd Mayweather's victory over Canelo years ago, this time both fighters were at the peak of their abilities. Mayweather had faced a younger, less experienced Canelo, which made his win impressive but different in context. Crawford, on the other hand, went up against a fully matured, seasoned champion who had dominated his division for years. Despite the size disadvantage, Crawford successfully outboxed and controlled the fight. For Roy, this alone makes Crawford's triumph remarkable, as he overcame a Canelo who was stronger, sharper, and more battle-tested than any opponent Mayweather had faced at that stage.
Generational great in Canelo Alvarez, really 3 weights above his natural weight class. Does that put him in the conversation with the likes of yourself as the greatest fighter of all time?
Yes, it does, and the reason it does is because he couldn't get the credibility down in his own weight class, so he went up to go challenge himself to find it, and he found a very formidable, good opponent.
Do you think Canelo Alvarez is on the decline or not?
No, I don't think it's on decline at all.
So you think both fighters are still at their peak, even though they're 36, 37?
Yeah, I think they're both still at their peak. the age for Crawford would seem like he may be beyond it, but he hasn't had the fights, the tough fights we have put him there. And the years of boxing for Canelo would have put him in a position where they're about equal. So I think they both are pretty much in a great place. I think they're both still in their primes, and this is the best time to see them fight.
Duke McKenzie expressed amazement at Crawford's performance in the ring. He noted that Canelo struggled to handle Crawford's speed, precision, and relentless pressure. McKenzie described the display as extraordinary, ranking it among the most complete performances seen in modern boxing. He emphasized that Crawford not only secured the undisputed title, but also showed a level of dominance that few opponents could challenge. His commentary mixed awe with respect, underlining that Crawford has set a benchmark that will be difficult for future fighters to match.
Know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable. He's a 3-time undisputed world champion, and he's beaten the best of the best. Now, for me, there were red flags way before this fight. Not way before the fight. You know, in the build-up to this fight, Canelo's body language in the run-up to this fight. You know, he turned up in Vegas in his stretch limo, in his Armani suit. He's had his kids and his wife in the back of the car, and he's got out and he's strolling around like he owns the gaff. Now, that all that signified to me was a very comfortable man. He was too comfortable. And Terence Crawford just kept it real from the outset. Tracksuit, no nonsense, went there to win, said what he was going to do, told the world what he was going to do long before the fight. I think he asked for this fight many years ago. The discussion he had with Bill Haney, and I think it was him that actually suggested call out Canelo, which he laughed at the beginning, but then it came to fruition, and now it's come to fruition. I mean, what you saw in that fight yesterday, what I watched in that fight yesterday, it was for the purists. It really was, because you really have to try and understand boxing and know what you're looking at. It was the feints. It was the way that he handled the bigger man. It was the little feints, the little side steps, the little flicking with the jabs. You know, hitting him with the head and the body, the little combinations, little 2s and 3s, and also with Crawford knowing how to close a round, knowing how to win rounds.
Trainer Robert Garcia gave high praise to Crawford, highlighting a historic accomplishment in his career. He noted that Crawford dominated Canelo across nearly every round and showed a relentless determination that few, including Floyd Mayweather, had ever attempted. Garcia emphasized that taking on a larger elite opponent and winning so decisively sets Crawford apart, marking the victory as both unique and significant. For him, greatness isn't just measured in titles or stats. It's about stepping up to challenges others shy away from and succeeding.
Canelo has already accomplished too much, has already done too much, and he wasn't, I don't see that hunger in him anymore. I don't see those changes anymore. He fights flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. He's not fast anymore, and that's why I picked Crawford by decision.
Are you surprised at how easy it was?
Look, not that I'm surprised, because what I just told you, I think Crawford is very talented, and Crawford is hungry to become a legend. He wanted to become that three-time, three-division undisputed. He wanted to go up, he wanted to make history by going up 2 divisions to beat Canelo, one of the greatest of all time. So he was hungry for it. I think Canelo has already done so much, has made so much money, that he's not hungry anymore.
Do you think possibly that Crawford is up there with Pacquiao or Mayweather?
I think in accomplishments, he's three division undisputed, moved up 2 divisions to beat Canelo. So he's probably he's accomplished more than Mayweather for sure. Mayweather never became undisputed, but that doesn't mean he's better than Mayweather. I think in a fight at welterweight, Mayweather in his prime would beat Crawford, and Pacquiao in his prime would probably beat Crawford. But Crawford has accomplished more.
Do you think Crawford should retire after this or fight someone else?
Look, I think a rematch would be fucking good for Crawford to just beat him again and do the same thing if Canelo doesn't have any changes. If he doesn't, he needs to do a lot of changes. Canelo needs to do a lot of changes. I think a rematch would do triple the money that he did in this fight and then retire. But but I would be so happy to hear he retires.
Brian Norman, Sr. made it clear that Terence Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez was extraordinary, surpassing even what many believed Floyd Mayweather could have achieved. His comments resonated widely because they captured the scale of Crawford's accomplishment. Canelo, long seen as the dominant force in his division, wasn't merely defeated. He was systematically outperformed by a fighter who had moved up 2 weight classes to face him. Crawford's display was a masterclass in skill and strategy, redefining what it means to reach the top in modern boxing. For years, Canelo had stood as a symbol of supremacy in the super middleweight division, defeating top opponents and cementing his reputation as one of the sport's biggest stars. His dominance often seemed unassailable, with many fighters struggling against his precision and power. Yet in this single fight, Crawford dismantled that perception. What made the victory so remarkable wasn't only the final score, but the manner in which it unfolded. Canelo was decisively outclassed, left searching for answers that never came.
I bet against Bud on Porter. I didn't think that Bud was the best. I got to give it to him. Bud the best, right? He's hands down. He's the best. He's the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do, and he is doing it with ease. Right? You got to respect that.
Break it down for me. How did he win that fight in the way he won it tonight?
He won the fight by claiming Canelo's respect. I think he was already in Canelo's head a little bit. I think that even though Canelo knew he was smaller and everything else, these fighters are still humans and they hear what the people are saying. Canelo was, Crawford was undefeated. Look at what he did to the Spence. I mean, look at what he's doing to some of these people. So no matter what, I mean, you have to take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? Even no matter what he did against Dreamoff or whatever else, you got to take into consideration what Bud has been known to do when it's time to do it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think Canelo respected him, and I think that was the biggest part.
Yeah, Canelo just said in the press conference that Crawford's better than Mayweather, having shared the ring with both. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's one of the things. I think that's one of the things it's opinionated situation because styles make fights. He beat him up. He beat Canelo up worse than Mayweather beat him up. He definitely did that. So in that case, you can ask the question: did he beat him up worse than Floyd did? Absolutely. But I mean, that would be an opinionated thing because styles make fights. You just never know. You know what I'm saying?
Different eras as
well,
right?
Yeah, different eras, different. It's a lot of things. You can't really say that.
Andre Ward, himself a celebrated figure in boxing, highlighted the historical significance of Crawford's triumph. He called it a generational performance, one that fans will reference for years as a pivotal moment in the sport. Ward emphasized that moments like these define careers and distinguish the truly great from the merely accomplished. He was particularly struck by Crawford's discipline and composure throughout the fight. Every decision in the ring reflected intelligence and control, with no room for emotion to interfere. According to Ward, this kind of performance places Crawford firmly in the conversation among the greatest fighters in boxing history. By outperforming Canelo in such a decisive manner, Crawford cemented a place among the sport's most elite figures.
Beat Canelo Alvarez tonight. What was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
Terence Crawford is great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turkey Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people call me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and His strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing?
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for more updates. See you next time.